Hi everyone, it's Dave. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another TBR. It doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago that I was recording last month's TBR. On the subject of last month's TBR, how did that go? Well, I haven't filmed my wrap up yet for the month of June. But it's been a fairly good reading month. There's been a bit of buddy reading going on. And I have flexed my TBR. So from my published TBR, which was the June TBR, I did say going forward that these TBRs would have to have a bit of flex in them. They would have to be flexible TBRs, because some of the reading patterns do change within the month. But I did stick pretty well, or pretty much, to what I set out to read at the start of the month. So in the same fashion, I do plan on doing the same thing this month. So what I've been doing is I've been picking a classic. No, what have I been doing? I've been picking a non-fiction, I've been picking a classic, I've been picking a thriller, and then I've been picking just a couple of new releases and a few books off of my physically owned but as yet unread shelves, which there are hundreds. Books, not shelves. Well, there are a lot of shelves, but I don't think it's into the hundreds yet. So let's crack on with this month's TBR. So as my thriller pick for the month, I've gone for The House Swap. This is by Rebecca Fleet. This was published by Doubleday. I think it came out a few months ago. I do remember featuring this in one of my 6 books to look out for. It might have been in the thriller, crime and thriller special. But this one looks really good. When Caroline and Francis receive the offer of a house swap, they jump at the chance to have a week away from home. After the difficulties of the past few years, they've worked hard to rebuild their marriage for their son's sake. Now they want to reconnect as a couple. On arrival, they find a house that is stark and sinister in its emptiness. It's hard to imagine what kind of person lives here. Then gradually, Caroline begins to uncover some signs of life, signs of her life. The flowers in the bathroom and the music in the CD player might seem innocent to her husband, but to her, they are anything but. It seems the person they have swapped with is someone she used to know, someone she's desperate to leave in her past. But that person is now in her home and wants to make sure she'll never forget. Really looking forward to that. That sounds just my kind of thriller that I like. So that's The House Swap, Rebecca Fleet. What else should I show you here? Ah, yes. I want to get into this one. This is The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. This is published by Raven Books, which is, I believe, a fairly recent imprint of Bloomsbury. I've seen a lot of... When did I buy this? I first came across this, I think. I saw an advertising poster for it up in London when I was up in London recently. And I have noticed that Veebs, one of my Twitter friends, and soon to be hopefully making a return to BookTube, my friend Vanessa from Canada, she's recently visited London, and I did spy that she'd bought this and taken it back to Canada to read. So I really want to get into it because I've heard some really good things about The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. So that's what I'm going to get into this month as well. Also, in a similar vein, Amanda Craig, The Light of the Land. This was published by Abacus. I've had this for a couple of months now. And it's one of those books that have been on a shelf and your eyes sort of stray to it every now and again. You think, must read that soon. Which probably goes for most of the books that I've got around here, actually. But I am going to get to it this month. And I might even take this one to Wales with me. I haven't put together a holiday TBR yet, or what I'm going to... We're away for a week in Wales, in Hay-on-Wye in Wales, and I haven't really decided what books I'm going to take yet. Another one I really want to get to, this is Nourishment by Gerard Woodward. I hauled this a couple of months ago now, and it seemed really interesting, and Charles Heathcote, of the channel Charles Heathcote, Charlie said that he'd read this and it was quite good. And it's got a really nice cover. Look at this. I love the artwork on this. That's what drew me to the book initially. This was published by Picador, and it's got some really interesting end papers. So that is on my list for this month. My classic pick for this month. Another thing I like about doing these TBRs is that I'm forcing myself in a good way, not in a bad way, to read some classics that I probably wouldn't have necessarily got to. So I started, I'll give you so last month I TBR'd Anthony Trollope, The Walden, the first in the Barsetshire series. This month, as my classic pick, I'm going for John Buchan, The 39 Steps. I've got a lovely hardback Folio Society edition of this downstairs. That's going to be my classic pick for the month. My non-fiction pick for the month is going to be Matt Haig, Notes on a Nervous Planet. This hasn't been published yet. This comes out, I think, early part of July, but I was very kindly sent this by Canongate. I really liked Reasons to Stay Alive for Matt Haig. I think that's an incredibly important book for people that suffer with mental health issues and anxiety and depression. I thought it was a really, really important piece of writing. And this just carries on in a similar vein, I think. I think this is mainly about how we live in our lives today and the effect technology is having, the effect social media is having on people's anxiety. So I'm really looking forward to it. I really do enjoy the writing of Matt Haig, both his fiction and his non-fiction. So looking forward to getting into that one. And also another new release that's coming out on the 12th of July, I'm getting into this. This is Helen Cullen, The Lost Letters of William Wolfe. This featured in my last video of 6 books to look out for coming out in July. This is published by Penguin Michael Joseph. This is the proof edition, and really, really looking forward to reading this. So that's written by Helen Cullen. So that is it. So that I've got 7 books on my TBR for July. What's everyone else reading in July? Please let me know in the comments down below this video. Are you still making TBRs for yourself? Have you made TBRs in the past and they haven't worked out? Are you just purely reading by whim? I used to read by whim, but I felt I needed a little bit more structure in my reading, hence why I started making these TBR videos. It just helps me along. And if I ever come to the point where it's no longer helping, then I'll stop planning out a TBR and I'll just go back to reading by whim. But at the moment, it's working for me. So if it's working, if it ain't broke, it don't need fixing. Okay, that was it. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a fabulous week. Whatever you're doing this week, enjoy your books. And I'll see you next time for another BookTube video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.